Roar!
Ew.
Hello and welcome to Pony&Wolf Productions. Today we'll be reading The Good Art, written by TCC56. As always, these are our amazing Patreons. Link is in the description if you wish to join. And shall we get to it? Celestia had little taste for critics in general. She understood the role demanded a certain level of negativity and overall over-analysis. But she had yet to meet one who was not infuriating. So it was reluctantly that she had brought one into the castle. Despite her distaste, she knew there were some tasks that only a proper critic could do. "It is wonderful to meet you, Mr. Rich," Celestia lied cheerfully. The critic shook his head, immediately souring her attempt to put on a good face. "Riche, Your Majesty," corrected the light grey stallion. "The Rich family are a very different branch, cousins on my father's side." He bowed. "You may call me Navu." "Apologies, Mr. Rich," said the Alicorn's already exasperated response. "I presume that Miss Inkwell has provided you the details?" Navu nodded, stonily serious now that it was time for business. "She has, and I must say it isn't flattering. My opinion is held in such regard. Just evaluating the art of Canterlot Castle would be an honor, but to influence what should and should not stay before a major renovation?" He let out a wistful sigh. "The opportunity is a dream for a pony in my field." Celestia smiled, meaning none of it, as he continued on with empty platitudes. He had no idea, of course, the cause of the renovations, but how could he? The number of ponies who knew that Luna would be returning soon could be counted on the primaries of one wing, with feathers left over. Everything was, of course, dependent on just what returned from the moon. But Celestia was trying not to think about that. It would drive her mad if she did. "Shall we begin?" His smile should have been a tip-off that things were wrong. No pony had that many teeth. She nodded back. Saying Navu hated everything was an overstatement. He rather liked the drapes in the upper east sitting room. It was everything else that was the problem. He began with the Birth of Celestia, painted 400 years before by the diamond dog Barcasel. It was arguably the most famous painting in Equestria, top 5 at worst. A prime example of the Renaissance. The image of Princess Celestia rising out of the sun with her wings spread wide charted the course of art for decades afterwards, and remained influential even in this modern age. Meh. Celestia blinked in confusion. "This hardly belongs here," Navu stated. Again, Celestia blinked. "It is the original." As if an expert would think she hung a copy. "It is overrated," came the sneered reply. "Replicas of this painting are in every gallery from here to Vancouver. Having it makes no statement, Your Highness. It is a place in history, but not in the palace. You may as well be hanging a mass-produced Thomas Canterbury." And so stunned was the princess that she was unable to come up with a reply before the critic walked off. Navu was posed with one hoof under his chin, almost identical to the statue he was considering. Rodin's The Thinker stared back at him without judgment. That attitude was distinctly one-sided. "It is acceptable," deemed the critic, as if he were speaking about the masterpiece of one of Equestria's great modern sculptors. "A bit common, but not beyond saving. It should be, approximately 20% smaller." The princess stared at him aghast. "The extra negative space will vastly improve the room's flow," he continued airily. "Otherwise, I just don't see how it could function here. It would need to be thrown out." "Warhorsel was a hack," stated Mr. Rich, as if it were indisputable fact. Princess Celestia remained silent this time. The critic motioned at the painting of a soup can. Any pony who considers this high art is a fool. He glanced at the princess, waiting for an objection. She gave none. Things were tensely silent for a good minute before she finally shrugged. To be honest, I don't get it either. The day dragged like a loading fishing net, and by lunchtime Celestia was at her wit's end. Their tour had progressed into the gardens, and Novu Rich had just declared Winged Victory a relic of savage Pegasulopolis, which had no place in modern Equestria. Then he abruptly stopped, and he stared at the next statue. Celestia internally sighed with resignation. At least this time she would agree with him, albeit for different reasons. It's... Novu took a shuddering breath. It's beautiful. What? Never before in my life have I seen something so unique. Novu rushed to the statue's base. So bold, so original, the courage it must have taken the artist to create this. He zipped around it, examining every angle. Celestia sucked in a sharp breath as the stallion clambered across what she knew to be an imprisoned chaos god. In the back of her head she could almost hear Discord giggling about how it tickled. Novu continued to rave. Avant-garde doesn't even begin to cover this. It is truly a statement on the inherent nature of Equestria as an amalgamation of ideals, as well as a window into the nature of the pony mind. For truly as highly as we hold ourselves at heart, are we not still beasts with animal urges? A little bit of breakfast came up before Princess could fully restrain herself. She had to escape this lunatic. Mr. Rich, I'm afraid that's all the time I have today. Please continue your review and submit it to Miss Inkwell once you're finished. She rushed away, but he barely noticed. He was entranced and still raving about the statue. 3 years later, there was a knock at the door of the Ritchie household. Novu, unsuspectingly, answered, May I help? With devilish glee, the Lord of Chaos threw the door wide and planted a deep kiss on the shocked stallion's lips.
I think you're beautiful too,
is all Discord said before cackling madly and teleporting away. I like this one. It's fun. Very fun. And kinda correct. Art is subjective in many ways. And I too don't fully understand the whole thing about the soup can. But at the same time, some people do like it. But yeah, critics have to be taken with a grain of salt. Sometimes. That was The Good Art, written by TCC56. Hope you all enjoyed, and keep watching that moon, everyone. Bye!